Welcome to the world premiere of London Reel's 5th feature-length documentary film, Reconnect. I want to recognize Dennis McKenna, my partner in crime on the screen and off the screen. Dennis and his brother are really epic in the psychedelic community. I don't think I would be up here making a movie about this if it wasn't for those two gentlemen. Tonight, this isn't entertainment. This is transformational content. Maybe you'll see something that makes you think, I could make that change. And pretty soon we've got an entire planet that's just trying to be a little bit better. I now present to you Reconnect.
What we don't understand about psychedelics is a very thick book. Look the hell out.
This is Brian Rose on your own personal journey of transformation.
Why is it so hard, Dennis?
Because anything worthwhile is hard. That's the big challenge of psychedelics. It forces you to get out of your comfort zone.
Which would be your advice to take this journey in the best way as possible?
This is an opportunity to just open yourself. You will get the lesson that you need.
What do you want people to take from watching something like this?
The bottom line is we're all humans. Our lives have to change, and they have to change fast. The first thing you have to do is wake up.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go? This is London Reel. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is I was super excited for the world premiere of London Reel's 5th documentary feature film, Reconnect. This is about an 18-month journey I had with the plant medicine ayahuasca and integrating those psychedelic experiences back into my life, into my family, into the business of London Reel. And along the way, I had help from so many people like Dennis McKenna, Sadhguru, Dr. Jordan Peterson, Gabor Mate, and so many more. The premiere itself was an amazing event in London, and we had Dr. Dennis McKenna there for a Q&A afterwards. We went really deep on psychedelics, on global warming, on all aspects of things that were covered on the movie, and I know you're going to enjoy this incredible night as if you were there with us at the premiere. And Dennis drops all sorts of incredible knowledge about psychedelics, the experience itself, how to have one, and how it relates to us as humanity and the rest of the world. For more information about the movie itself, you can go to londonreel.tv/reconnect. But now, sit back and enjoy this incredible experience that was the premiere and my amazing conversation with Dennis McKenna. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise! Woo! Let me hear you up there. Come on, make some noise. Come on. Woo! Welcome to the world premiere of London Reel's 5th feature-length documentary film, Reconnect. Oh my God, this feels good that this night has finally come. This has been a crazy few months and a crazy few years making this film. It's been an adventure. At times I've laughed, at times I've cried. I wanted to quit. I wanted to kill certain members of my team. They wanted to kill me. But we finally finished this, and tonight we want to show it to you. We think this film is going to change lives, and we believe this film is actually going to change the world. And I'm super excited to show this to you for the very first time. And tonight is the first time that most of you will see this, including my wife. She has not seen this movie before. Thank you, baby, for waiting this long, right? Give it up. And no one has seen this movie tonight except for a few select people. And I keep thinking of this one number in my head. It's 126,720. 126,720. That is the number of individual frames of this film. And myself and my director, Luis, have watched these about 800 times. We see this movie in our sleep. We see this movie when we're awake, not even when we're looking at a computer. And so this has become part of who we are. And so for us, this is a strange night, because for you, it's the first time you're ever going to see this film. But tonight, it's the last time I'm ever going to watch this film. And it's a bit of a strange thing. It's almost like having a little baby, and we've been raising this baby. And the baby has good days and bad days. Some days it goes from a crawling to a walk. Some days it poops all over the place. Some days it does something that gives you so much pride, it just makes your heart want to melt. But now it's time to send this kid out into the world and to just go do it all on their own. We can't do any more, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna release this thing. And honestly, I don't think either one of us knows what the hell we're gonna do tomorrow. But all good things must come to this end, and I wouldn't have anyone else that I'd rather share it with you. I really appreciate all of you being here, and this is a really special moment for us. I love doing these premieres. I love and hate them equally, but this is really special, so thank you all for coming. I want to recognize an individual tonight who has been my partner in crime, both on the screen and off the screen, and that is one Dennis McKenna. Dennis, could you stand up, and can we give this man a round of applause? Come on. Woo! Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. You can sit down if you want. Now, if you don't know who Dennis is, well, Dennis and his brother Terrence are basically the OG gangsters of the psychedelic movement. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But not that, huh? And if you don't know what OG is, just look it up. But you know, Dennis and his brother are really epic in the psychedelic community. And to be honest, I don't think I would be up here making a movie about this if it wasn't for those two gentlemen. I don't think that a lot of you would have ever necessarily imbibed some psilocybin mushrooms. In fact, there's a strain of ayahuasca known as the McKenna strain. And it is these two men that really brought a lot of this psychedelic knowledge to the forefront, and I still listen to his late brother's audio recordings, and it was still a big part of making me understand the entire psychedelic phenomenon. It's just been a real honor to share the screen and to share off-screen with Dennis. And Dennis, I just want to thank you very much. I treasure our friendship very much. And I look forward to doing some great things with the McKenna Academy and the London Reel Academy in the next 5 years. So thank you very much, sir. Next, I want to thank the people from Soltara Healing Center. And these are the people that were so kind to host us down in Costa Rica for some things that happen in this film. I won't spoil it. And they're also sponsoring this evening, and they are in the back. They came here through many flights, planes, trains, and automobiles. But if you could stand up, Daniel Cleland, the founder, and Melissa Strangle, one of his top execs. Thank you very much. And they will be around tonight if you want to ask them any questions about the center. Also, everybody got a brochure on the way in, and there's more information about them. And they were, again, super gracious in hosting us there. And they have an excellent center and excellent brew, as Dennis would say. And so we're really proud of that as well. Next, I want to tell you something about myself, and it's a bit of a confession. And that is that I am a dangerous man. It's true. Thank you. I am a very dangerous man, and you must think twice before you spend time hanging out with me, because something might happen. I might put you in one of my movies. And I'm looking at some people here who are in my movies. There's one there, and you're in my movie, and you're in my movie as well. And the beautiful part is that I don't even ask you. And I don't even tell you that you're in the movie. I've put my kids in the movie, my family in the movie, my wife in the movie, my team in the movie, and my guests on the show in this movie. And you know what the best part is? I don't pay them anything. And someone outside was asking me, Brian, how do you come up with these concepts, these storylines to make a feature-length documentary film? It's a lot of time to make sure that you can hold people's attention. And I wanted to start waxing lyrical about Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey and how the man starts off in the ordinary world and he's tempted with a call and he refuses the call. And then he accepts the call and goes into the extraordinary world and he fights the demons and he stabs the dragon and he comes back with this elixir and he shares it with the people left behind, this elixir of knowledge. But then I realized that's not really how things work at London Real. What really happens is this. My director, Luis Solarat, would you please stand up here? Luis Solarat, give this man a round of applause. This is the man that has directed every single one of our feature-length documentary films. I literally met Luis on the streets of London some 5 or 6 years ago, and we've had a partnership ever since. But this is the way these movies actually happen. Luis sneaks up from behind me with a big fucking butcher knife, and he slices me open and all my guts come out, and then he grabs his camera and he films the good and the bad and the ugly of Brian Rose, and he puts it up on screen. And you could call him a sadistic bastard for doing this, and sometimes I do, and we go back and forth, but what he's really trying to do is use my story to hopefully show you something about your story. And that's what we're trying to do tonight. And I'm putting it all out there, so hopefully at one moment tonight in this film, you can glimpse something that maybe resonates with you in your life. I don't know what it's gonna be. But tonight, this isn't entertainment. This isn't like going to the Odeon down the road. This isn't like clicking on Netflix. This is transformational content. And so if you could do me a favor, really watch this movie with a different lens. And try to find something that you can take home tonight, that you can meditate on, that you can share with your husband or your wife or your friends or your family or maybe even your coworkers, God forbid. And maybe you'll see something that makes you think, you know what? Maybe I could make that change. Maybe I could do something scary. Maybe I could get uncomfortable. Maybe I could try to raise my level of consciousness. And maybe you actually do that. Maybe you transform yourself a little bit. And by doing that, maybe your family notices, maybe your friends notice, maybe your coworkers notice and they do the same thing. And then maybe your community notices and they do the same thing. And then your city and your country. And pretty soon we've got an entire planet that's just trying to be a little bit better. Yes. Right? That's trying to, thank you. That's trying to vibrate on a higher level, trying to raise their consciousness. And that's what we're doing here. That's what we're trying to put out. And in a world where everyone is pointing the finger, go on Twitter and Instagram, and it's the Republicans and the Democrats and the Tories and the this and the that and then that, we all know who's really at fault, isn't it? It's the person we look at in the mirror every single day. It starts with us, but it's so much easier to point the finger at the other person. But imagine if we could just stop with all of our bullshit, you know? Imagine if we could get uncomfortable, go into a fear. Imagine if we could be more compassionate, be more understanding, be more grateful. Imagine what that could do. A small little transformation like that could have a massive effect on the world. And that is our entire mission here at London Real. So when you watch this film tonight, and I'm gonna be watching all of you, by the way, that's what we do, me and the director. We don't really look at the screen. We're gonna be watching you, and I'd like to see maybe something in your eye that says, okay, I got what you mean, Brian, and I want you to take something home with you tonight. And ideally do something with it, you know? I don't want this just to be another movie you saw. I want this to change your life. And so this month marks the 9-year anniversary of when I left my job as a banker and started on my adventure for London Real. I know. And the first question I know you're all asking is, then Brian, why are you still dressing like a banker? And I saw one of my banking colleagues out there and he said, Brian, you never dressed like this when you were a banker. And it's true. But if I had actually known what I was gonna go through on this adventure, I don't think I would have started, you know? I'm a logical guy, I'm an engineer by training, and that move made no logical sense to me, that I would leave this job in banking to go do a podcast on YouTube. It also made absolutely no financial sense, and I can't stress this enough, how little financial sense it made. It actually made no common sense what I was doing, but something inside me was pulling me forward, was pulling me to go do this thing that became London Real. I didn't know why I was doing it, but I just knew I had to do this thing. And it's been pulling me along, and I don't know where it's going. But I do know one thing, is that while it's been one of the most difficult journeys of my life, it's been one of the most challenging things on so many levels, it's also been the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And I can honestly say that right now, I can honestly say that I actually love myself right now. Yeah. And trust me, the Brian Rose from 10 years ago and 15 years ago, he just didn't love himself. Look at his behavior. He was trying to destroy himself. And so look, I've got a long way to go, and every day I'm trying to get better. But if I can love myself, if we all can love ourselves, that's the start of going out to loving other people. And that's what I really think we need to focus on. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you here, because it's everyone in this room. It's all of the people out there that watch us on YouTube. It's the people that come to our events, the members of our London Real Academy that hold me accountable to show up every day and to cut all my bullshit and to cut all my fears and to show up and be a leader, to be a better father, to be a better example. And if it wasn't for you, like, honestly, I don't know where I'd be right now. Yep. So I'm super grateful for all of you basically bringing me to this level in my life. And lastly, I just want to thank the entire team at London Real. It's not just me that makes this happen. There's some 30 people all over the world in different capacities, people that teach in our academy, that create this video content, that stand on stage with me and record me, all of these things, and they're the ones that make all this happen. So if you see them out there, give them a hug, give them a kiss, give them whatever you want. But thank them in some way, because they're really making this whole thing happen. And so, on the behalf of my entire team and myself, I now present to you the world premiere of London Real's 5th documentary feature film, Reconnect.
Here you go. This is Brian Rose on your own personal journey of transformation.
Why is it so hard, Dennis?
Because anything worthwhile is hard. You know, it's hard because it forces you to get out of your comfort zone. You know, and everyone, I think people, you know, they like their comfort zone, but you have to get out of it. That's for the same reason that the psychedelics are challenging. You know, as we talked about, it not demolishes, but temporarily disables this default mode network that we create for ourselves. And another term for that is our comfort zone in a certain way. Our brains are designed to make the world, you know, to interface with the world in a way that we can handle. And a lot of what our brains do in constructing this default mode, which is made up of, you know, your sensory data, your memories, your expectations, your predictions about the future, about how things are going to be, you know, you build up this sort of bubble. And a lot of what the default mode network is, it's about filtering things out. You know, the brain is as much an organism for filtering things that as it is for perception. You know, that's almost a more important function. You know,
have you had
because if you were totally open all the time, like you are in psychedelics, well, you know, you wouldn't be very functional, right? So that's why psychedelic experiences are a special thing. That's why the, you know, set and setting and all the parameters that you put around it are so important. It's important to have a proper setting so that the set that you bring to it, and the set is you, the set is your mindset. And it's not just your intention. It's everything you are. It's your whole experience of life that you bring to this. So it's important to do this thoughtfully, and pay attention to the setting so that you have the freedom to surrender. That's the thing. That's the big challenge of psychedelics. If you feel threatened, if you feel unsafe, obviously you're not going to be able to relax into it and surrender because you're concerned for your welfare. If you go into it with a well-crafted setting, if you want to put it that way, then you can feel better about surrendering to the experience. I mean, you may be terrified, but and that's part of the experience because you're out of your comfort zone. That's the value of these things. They let you step outside your usual reference frame. You may be terrified, but if you've taken steps to plan for the experience, there's a part of you that is reassuring. There's a part of you that says, it's okay, Brian, you're all right. You can let go. You can let go. Just let it happen. Resistance is futile. And that's the lesson, I think.
And would you like to do an ayahuasca ceremony with Dan Pena?
Would I want to do?
An ayahuasca ceremony with Dan Pena, the guy that yells a lot.
I would love to.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a little worried, actually. He might just kill us.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that.
But do you think, on a serious note, is there merit in doing that, do you think? In having some of these people have an ayahuasca ceremony? Is that a potential solution, or is that a naive assumption?
I don't know. I mean, would I want to do an ayahuasca ceremony with Donald Trump, for example? I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is I don't think it would help him.
Really?
I mean, yeah, a shaman that I respect a lot said he told me there are two kinds of people that I will not give ayahuasca to because it won't help them. One is schizophrenics, and the reason is kind of obvious. If you have this genetic proclivity, it can push you over the edge. But the other is sociopaths. And I think that ayahuasca he said, it won't help sociopaths, because in a sense there's no there there. These people are so well defended, they forgot that there isn't even a core self, and so not only are they estranged from the world, they're estranged from themselves.
But it could work.
Ayahuasca can help some, but not everyone with that.
All right. And we will be passing around microphones and just taking some questions from the audience, but we just wanted to do a Q&A here for maybe 30 or 40 minutes before we head out back to the reception area. So, Dennis, you have never seen that film. You're kind of the star of the first half of it. What do you want people to take from watching something like this? What are the steps you want them to take after something like this?
Gosh, that's a tall order. I think this film is a call to consciousness and to re-understand our relationship with nature. I mean, that's the core of the message. And the core of the message is we're estranged from nature. And I watch my brother say these things. So and I've been saying the same things for myself for, 18 years or whatever. And so the message really hasn't changed. But people have got to start taking this seriously. We're as a species very well able to deny it. And again, it's about, as a species, we're protective of our comfort zone. But that can't last. It's not sustainable. We've reached a point now where we're seeing the consequences of our neglect of the lessons which we've known for 30 years or more. We could have started 30 years ago anticipating what is happening now and taking steps to mitigate it. We didn't do that. We're not good at looking much past the next quarter. You know, we're not good at looking 50 years into the future. So denial works to a certain extent, but now we're about to hit the wall, and it's not going to be pretty. And I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't know. Maybe it's not fair. I mean, you don't want to alarm people, but you want to alarm people enough to think about this.
How much time do we have? You were on the show today.
Well, we were talking about this morning. I mean, I think that 2020 is an important year. The next decade is the most important decade our species may ever confront, because I think at the end of the 20s, we will look back and we'll either be able to say we got this thing, we woke up, we made radical changes that will turn the ship around. It'll take a long time. I mean, even if we do wake up and do what we need to do, it'll still take 30, 40 years for things to settle down. Or we'll look back and say, it's too late. We didn't wake up. We didn't integrate the lesson, and we're doomed, basically. I mean, it's a terrible, it's a terrible thing to think about. I mean, it's certainly not a message I wish to propagate. I would like to think there is hope, but it's got to be a realistic hope, and I think people need to accept that our lives have to change. They have to change radically, and they have to change fast.
And Gaia is going to live on either way, with or without us.
Well, Gaia, if you mean by that the community of living species, Gaia will survive. Life on Earth is going to survive. It may be radically changed. It may be seriously impacted, but, species on Earth have gone through extinction events before. The 250 million years ago, the Triassic Permian boundary, 98% of terrestrial species went extinct, because of climate change, basically, volcanism, change in the salinities of the ocean and all this. And yet, of course, things survive. Life is tough. But wiping that many species off the planet, what it did was it opened up an opportunity for then life to diversify and proliferate and flourish. But it played itself out over millions of years, hundreds of millions of years. We don't think on that scale. Gaia thinks on that scale. Life works on that scale, evolutionarily. Our time frame is much shorter. Our perspective's much shorter. The environmental changes that are happening now are going to make it tougher on life, but life will be able to survive. We may not be able to. We may not have the adaptability, to do it. But I think we have I think the ability to deal with these problems does exist, but there has to be a consensus emerge. This is why I say, first the monkeys have to wake up, but that's the first step. Then we have to wise up.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.